Yeah, well, I was very fortunate. We grew up on a farm, and a dairy farm, hen farm, and pigs at that time, and it was hard work, and looking back, at the time it was hard work, and growing up as a cub, and I didn't, you're right, you didn't know much about the games or any games, I didn't even know about Gaelic football. It was across the field or across the hedge, but I was never part of it. You weren't part of that. And then I went to Home Academy and fell in love with rugby football, and I fell in love with playing for Ireland. Maybe at maybe 13 or 14, like maybe $10,000 Cubs, I wanted to play for Ireland. And that was my sort of aim, and I suppose farming helped me achieve that because it stuck to me. Just hard labor, and it was certainly better than doing weights a lot of times because you were using all your muscles, not just one section of muscles. And it was a unionist background that I was brought up on. Protestant, went to the local, Presbyterian church and brought up that way. And I'm very proud of how I was brought up, and it was, I can't say that I had any difficulties, in terms of that. I was very fortunate, to from that point when I went to Stromwells College at around 2018, 19, with the first tour, and I toured literally for 20 years, which was just unbelievable to have rugby as a passport to see the world. But in doing so, in one way or the other, good, bad, or indifferent, I was able to see that, we're so lucky in Ireland, to have what we have, and the game that we have, and the passport of rugby that we have, and the friendship that we have around the world, but also to see that you're playing with other people. We're very lucky in rugby football that it was apolitical. It crossed everywhere. It was Ulster, 9 counties. It was, the 4 provinces made one team. And, the experiences of going to Galway or, down to Limerick to play, or Cork or Dublin, and meeting people and playing against them, and, having that provincial kind of, and even club, even club, it was always, like it was, Dungannon going to Galwegians or Old Crescent, or, play down against UCC or, St. Mary's or Wanderers or whoever at that particular time. It just broadened your whole mind. It just broadened your whole, view of Ireland and people and the game. As I was growing up as well and became a teacher, I was very fortunate then to teach in a school called the Rainey and Dowd School here. And I remember when I was coaching that I had, 8 Protestants, 7 Catholics in the team, or 8 Catholics and 7 Protestants in the team. I'm saying this is the way it should be going. This is the way it should be. There's no difference in these guys. They've got one aim, and that's to go out and kick the living bit, whatever, out of the opposition as a team, as a one unit. And I just, and then very fortunately then to have played for Ireland. And I remember saying to a couple of people, like, I was able to actually put my hand through in a scrum through an Ulster man. A Munster man was beside me as I put my arm around him. A Connacht man was up my backside pushing as a number 8, and a Connacht guy on the blind side or open side. So I said to myself, that is what Irish rugby is about. It was incredible. On a lot of occasions, Ulster and Connacht were below Munster and Leinster. So we were fighting for our identity as well. But it wasn't just that. There was such a common bond because we felt, well, we have to work, we have to fight together. We need to work together here because we don't want to be pushed out with the 2 big boys. And I think there was a kind of a lot of feeling towards that. But certainly, the Connacht and Ulster and all the times that I ever played, it was such a bond between, and a thankful bond, a grateful bond, that we both support each other. Whenever a guy was playing for his country, this song was coming on, and this song was the national anthem of Ireland. So when I did hear it, I had actually, back of my hair was standing, and I knew that song meant so much to me in terms of rugby, but also in terms of it to me, it wasn't political. To me, it was playing for my country, my little country, the Irish country. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that day. I got a couple of letters which weren't particularly nice about me playing for Ireland and me captaining Ireland from obviously bigoted people. And, it probably just showed to me the division that, unfortunately there is. And the small-minded, pettiness or sectarianism, sometimes it raises its head. And to come from my side was from the Protestant side. I was, very disappointed and very disillusioned in ways. I represent the country. It's the proudest thing that I can do, and I'm representing everybody in the country. I'm not representing just one small group of people or one religion, or I'm representing people in Skibbereen to Malahide or to Derry. I think rugby should shone a massive light for the fact that a lot of people in the north, no matter who they are, can play the game, and it's an all-Ireland sport like boxing or hockey. Also, it shone a light on how people in an Irish team can get on together and actually win, no matter where you're from in the island. And, I must say, whenever England came, when John Poole brought his team over in the 70s, and, even though the Oil enemy, to come and play Ireland twice, I thought that was a fantastic statement, because rugby crosses everywhere, crosses all the bounds. I have to be so thankful for the game, for me to have met so many people and so of many creeds and religions and colours, and I just think that's what rugby's about.